Do you know who your real enemy is? This question, though simple, carries profound weight. It's a question we often overlook, but it's crucial to our growth and happiness. Our real enemy is not always the person we argue with or the situation that frustrates us. It could be something far more subtle and insidious. It could be our own attitudes, behaviors, and thoughts that sabotage our progress. Imagine a world where you're not held back by your own self-doubt, fear of failure, or negative self-talk. A world where you're free to explore your potential without the chains of perfectionism or the shadow of imposter syndrome. A world where you're not afraid of success and you're open to change. Sounds liberating, doesn't it? We're about to embark on a journey of self-discovery. Stay tuned as we delve into the 9 sure ways to identify your real enemy. The first way to identify your real enemy is through recognizing negative self-talk. Let's unpack this a bit. Negative self-talk is that little voice in your head that says, "I can't do this," or "I'm not good enough." It's an internal dialogue that can be incredibly destructive, and it's often our worst critic. It's like having a tiny, constant naysayer living in your mind, continually undermining your confidence and self-belief. It's a voice that can hold you back, prevent you from taking risks, and stop you from achieving your full potential. Negative self-talk can be a significant roadblock to personal growth and achievement. It's a form of self-sabotage, and it's often based on unfounded fears and insecurities. But here's the thing, this voice isn't speaking the truth. It's just fear talking. Once you recognize it for what it is, you can start to challenge it, question it, and ultimately silence it. Negative self-talk is a sure sign that your real enemy is within. The second way is through acknowledging self-doubt. Self-doubt is a cunning adversary that can sneak up on us and sap our confidence without us even realizing it. It's a silent whisper in the back of our minds, constantly questioning our abilities, our worth, and our potential. Can I really do this? Am I good enough? What if I fail? These are the echoes of self-doubt that can keep us stuck, hinder our progress, and prevent us from reaching our full potential. But here's the thing. Acknowledging self-doubt is the first step towards defeating it. It's about recognizing its existence, understanding its power, and then choosing not to let it dictate our actions or decisions. It's about saying, yes, I have doubts, but they will not control me. So the next time self-doubt creeps in, acknowledge it. Look it in the eye and say, I see you, but you don't define me. When you doubt your abilities, you're allowing your inner enemy to take control. The third way is by understanding your fear of failure. This fear, it's a sneaky one. It creeps in, crawling beneath our skin, making us shudder at the thought of trying something new or stepping outside our comfort zones. It's not just a simple fear, it's a paralyzing one. It can freeze us in our tracks, hindering our progress, stopping us from taking the risks that are necessary for growth and self-improvement. But why does it have such a hold on us? The answer is simple yet complex. We're afraid of making mistakes, of not being good enough, of disappointing ourselves and others. This fear of failure is not just a fear, it's a manifestation of our own inner enemy. It's one of the ways we sabotage ourselves, holding us back from our true potential. So the next time you feel this fear creeping in, remember, it's not an external enemy you're fighting. If fear of failure is stopping you from trying, you've found another manifestation of your inner enemy. The fourth way is by identifying self-sabotage. Now, self-sabotage is a sneaky beast. It can show up in many forms, often masquerading as something else. But at its core, it's all about actions that undermine our own goals and aspirations. One of the most common forms of self-sabotage is procrastination. We've all been there, right? When you know there's something important you need to do, but somehow you just can't bring yourself to do it, that's self-sabotage at work. Another form is overly critical self-evaluation. This is when you're constantly criticizing yourself, undermining your own confidence, and second-guessing your abilities. It's like having a little voice in your head that's always telling you you're not good enough. These actions, while they might seem harmless at first, can have a profound impact on your ability to reach your goals. So if you find yourself engaging in these behaviors, take a moment to reflect. Self-sabotage is a clear sign that your worst enemy is yourself. The fifth way is by noticing procrastination. Procrastination is a slippery slope. It starts off innocently with a delay of a task or two, but before you know it, it's morphed into a habit that's holding you back from reaching your full potential. Procrastination is not just about laziness or poor time management, it's often a form of self-sabotage. It's an intricate dance between your conscious ambitions and your subconscious fears. When you procrastinate, you're allowing your inner enemy to take the reins. It's a sign that you're allowing your fear of failure or even success to keep you from taking the necessary steps forward. You're essentially telling yourself that you'd rather do nothing than risk doing something and failing. But remember, every moment spent procrastinating is a moment wasted. So the next time you find yourself delaying a task, ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Procrastination is another way your inner enemy can hold you back. The sixth way is by spotting perfectionism. Now, perfectionism, at its core, is the belief that anything less than perfect is unacceptable. It's a lofty standard that often leads to self-sabotage. It can manifest in various forms, whether it's obsessing over minor details, the inability to finish tasks, or the constant feeling of never being good enough. Perfectionism is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it drives us to pursue excellence, but on the other, it can paralyze us with unrealistic expectations and fear of failure. It's this fear that makes us our own worst enemy. Instead of focusing on being perfect, strive for progress. Understand that mistakes and setbacks are not failures, but opportunities for growth and learning. It's through these experiences that we truly evolve and improve. Remember, perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. Perfectionism can stop you from progressing and is another sign of your inner enemy. The seventh way is by recognizing imposter syndrome. This is a psychological pattern where individuals doubt their accomplishments and have a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Even when they are competent or successful, they still feel undeserving and worry that they'll be found out. This syndrome can be a major hindrance, preventing us from acknowledging our own achievements and capabilities. Often we undermine our accomplishments, attributing them to luck, timing, or deceiving others into thinking we're more intelligent and competent than we believe ourselves to be. This constant self-doubt and fear of exposure can be crippling, holding us back from taking on new challenges or reaching for higher goals. But remember, it's okay to have self-doubt sometimes. Even the most successful people do. What's not okay is letting that self-doubt control you. So when you find yourself feeling like a fraud, remember that it's just your inner enemy trying to hold you back. Imposter syndrome is a clear sign that your inner enemy is at work. The eighth way is by acknowledging your fear of success. Yes, you heard it right, fear of success. It might sound counterintuitive, but fear of success is real and surprisingly common. We all have dreams, ambitions, and targets, but sometimes the idea of actually reaching them can be daunting. Why, you may ask? Well, success often means change, and change can be scary. It can bring about new responsibilities, new pressures, and can even alter our relationships and personal identity. This fear can be so powerful that it holds us back from even trying to reach our goals. It's important to realize that it's okay to be scared of success. It's a natural response. But we need to confront this fear, understand it, and ultimately overcome it. Remember, the fear of success is just another way our inner enemy can play tricks on us, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Fear of success is another way your inner enemy can sabotage your progress. The ninth and final way is by spotting resistance to change. Imagine you're at the helm of a ship with the entire ocean as your playground, but you're stuck in a rut, sailing the same route over and over again. This is what resistance to change feels like. It's a refusal to adjust our sails, to explore new waters, to grow and evolve. You see, change is a fundamental part of life. Everything around us is in a constant state of flux, and we too are meant to change with it. But often this change can be uncomfortable. It can be scary. It can even feel like a betrayal to our old selves. And that's when resistance creeps in. This resistance, this unwillingness to step out of our comfort zone, is a clear reflection of our inner enemy. It's a sign that we're holding ourselves back, that we're allowing fear to steer our ship instead of courage and curiosity. Resistance to change is a sure sign of your inner enemy at work. So, there you have it, 9 sure ways to identify your real enemy. We've taken a deep dive into the labyrinth of self-doubt, negative self-talk, and fear of failure. We've looked at how self-sabotage and procrastination can hinder progress and how an unrealistic pursuit of perfection can be a roadblock to success. We've also delved into the imposter syndrome and the fear of success, 2 paradoxical yet common phenomena. Lastly, we've explored resistance to change, a formidable enemy that can hold us back from our full potential. In all these aspects, the common thread is self-awareness. It's essential to recognize these enemies within us, to understand their impact, and to consciously work towards overcoming them. Each of these 9 ways is a mirror, reflecting our own fears and insecurities. Remember, the first step in defeating your enemy is recognizing that it exists. So keep these points in mind as you continue on your journey of self-improvement and personal growth. And